Hey World Cup family, I'm Nolan McMahon, coach at World Cup Gymnastics, and today I'm coming at you from my home with a nice home workout that all these exercises can be modified depending on skill levels. So without further ado, alright, first thing we're going to be doing is we want to warm up. We want to get that heart moving. So first we're just going to start with running in place. There are plenty of ways to do this one. You can get your knees up nice and high. You can do some butt kicks. Anything really, just moving around. You can do this with some arm circles forward, backwards, whatever you want. Maybe some crossing the arms, just getting moving. Once you feel like you got a good benefit from that, we're going to move right along into jumping jacks. When you do those jumping jacks, try to get really focused on getting those arms involved. Try to get the hands above those shoulders, staying on the toes the whole time. Come on now. Gotta get that heart moving. Pump, pump, pump it up. Once you're feeling sufficiently warm, we are going to move on to nice, good stretching. Once you're feeling nice and warm, I like to move on to some nice dynamic flexibility. So first, on this one, we're just standing in a straddle, toes pointing forward, hands out, tightening the hips, just moving side to side. Next up, same thing, standing in a straddle, but reaching down across to the opposite foot. Now same thing, but hands are going to go by the ears. You're going to reach as far behind your heels as you can, and then back up again. On the way up, try to really throw your hands up, past your shoulders, really focusing on getting a nice stretch, really just getting those shoulders moving. You can do that with your hands together if you want. And now we're just going to be putting your hands down. If you can, put them flat on the floor and just walking them side to side. Do this a few times until you feel like you've gotten a nice stretch in. Next, we're going to bring those feet together. You're going to bend down as far as you can. If you can, get those hands on the floor, and then just bend, straighten up. If you can, do this with your face between your knees. Next, keeping the hands on the floor, pick up those toes. Now having one foot in front of the other, toe comes to the heel and kicks up. Try to kick as high as you can while keeping the leg that's on the ground nice and straight. And switch. Once you're done with those, we're going down on the floor for more stretching. First one, we're just going to put those toes out. Reach down as far as you can. Try to just grab those feet for a nice pike stretch. If you can, grab the bottoms of your feet, pull those elbows all the way to the ground. If you can, put your face between the knees. A nice good stretch in the hamstrings here. And similarly, we're going to do a pancake, putting the legs out to 90 degrees, reaching down as far as you can. When you do this, try to keep your back nice and straight. Really just focusing on the stretch on the legs here. Should also be doing it side to side. When you're going side to side, try not to just reach across, but really reach over your head, feeling a nice stretch through here also. Once you're feeling nice and stretched there, try to go down as far as you can and hold this for 30 seconds or so. The goal being, with legs straight, to get that belly down to the floor. Make sure you're trying to keep your toes pointed and also turning your feet out. Next, we're going to just move on to our butterfly. Really stretch the hips and the adductors out. So bring your feet together. You're going to grab your ankles, push those knees with your elbows down to the floor. While we do this, try to keep your back, again, nice and straight. Really lean forward into the stretch. Again, focusing on getting those knees down to the floor. Next up, with those legs out like pike position, you're going to bring one leg over, grab with both arms, pull it in nice and tight. Really trying to stretch the back of your hip out there. And other side. Cross over, grab, grab, pull it in. Hands on the floor, toes should be turned up. If you feel like you can go down on your elbows comfortably, definitely do that. Adding more weight onto those legs. Make sure you're keeping your quads tight in order to keep your legs nice and straight. Make sure you're taking nice deep breaths while you're stretching. Just trying to tell that muscle to relax and expand out. And for our side splits, taking a nice big step first. When we take this step, make sure that you're taking a big enough step so that your knee can't go in front of your foot here. So again, nice big step in order to get this hip forward and down to the floor. When we do this, we want to keep our shoulders above our hips here. Now we're going to tuck our back toe in, push through, straighten this little back leg, and again thinking about getting the hips down to the floor. When we're stretching that hip flexor out, try to make sure your hips are turned in here and not having this massive arch in the back. So again, hip in and down. Once you're feeling like it's stretched out, straighten that front leg, bend over, slide it down as far as you can. Again, try to get those shoulders up above your hips. And if you can, put your hands out. Try to balance in this position. Really make those legs do the work here. And same thing on the other side. Again, nice big step. Knee isn't going in front of that toe. Hips are turned in, just rocking it forward and back first. Just trying to get those hips to wake up. And tuck the back toe, push through that back leg is straight, front leg is still bent, hips turned in. Think about getting those hips down to the ground. Straighten that front leg. Slide it down as far as you can. Shoulders up above the hips. Far down as you can. When we do the side splits, make sure we're not turning our hips out like this, but they're staying in line with each other if you're looking at it from the side here. Again, not letting them turn out. Hands out, let the legs do the work, and slide it down. And let's do the middle split one more time. We'll make sure you're squeezing those quads here. Next up, we're going to stretch those shoulders out. In gymnastics, we definitely put a lot of stress on the shoulders, so it's just so important that we stretch them out. First, I like to put the hands forward, bend those elbows, and just rock it side to side. Next, we're going to turn the hands out. Try to get those pinkies as close together as you're able to. Once they're as close as you can, you're going to slide your hips forward while keeping your hands down. Put your head back. Just relax. Enjoy the stretch. Again, make sure you're breathing and not tightening up. Relax. And stretching the shoulders the other way. We're going to put the hands behind the shoulders, elbows up, heels to the butt, push up. And we're just to get moving, we're going to do 10 bridge push-ups. Try to get the back all the way to the ground. So not just doing these, bring the chin in, all the way down, and push up. The goal being trying to get your chest in front of your hands on every push-up. If you can do this, you also want to have the goal of having your legs together and legs straight. That's not happening, but I bet you can do it. After you do those, you can also challenge yourself by doing bridges with one hand. So pushing up into the bridge, and one hand. You can do this for 3 seconds at a time. Make sure this bottom arm is staying straight. Really trying to get the chest over the hand here. You can also do with these with one leg up. I look like a tomato. Breathe. Once you stretch that back the one way, you should also stretch it the other way by grabbing those knees in and doing what we call rock and roll. Rock and roll, man. Come on. Candlestick is also good. Feet down. Really stretching out that lower back. You can walk your feet side to side here. Move on to our strength portion of this workout. Let's get it. First thing we're going to be doing is just half push-ups 20 times. So in push-up position, feet together to engage the core. Make sure your hips are rolled in, our whole body in a nice rigid line. We're just going to go halfway down and all the way up. Make sure you're fully locking out those arms at the top. Whew. 10, halfway there. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Very nice. Next one, take a rest if you need it. Pace yourself on all of these. Make sure you're not straining yourself too hard. You just want to get a good pump in right now. Again, make sure that your hands are just a little bit further than shoulder width apart. And we're going to do 10 full push-ups now. Try to get your chest to lightly touch the ground. 2, 3, stay nice and tight. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome job. Once you've completed those, we're going to be doing the half push-up again, but we're going to add a pause, which is going to add a nice benefit for our muscles. So again, halfway down, 1, 2, pause, up, pause. We're just going to be doing 5 of these. Pausing halfway, and pausing at the top. And one more. As you can see, I have some props here. I have the chairs, which will act like parallel bars. and we are going to be working on dips now. Dips are really good for chest strength and also tricep strength. So go into a support. When you do the dips, make sure that your shoulders aren't here, but you're pushing down into the chairs. I like to say, pretend you're a giraffe, have a nice long neck. Bend the knees, down and up. You can start by just going halfway. Let's do that for 10 reps. 3 more. Awesome job. Now we're going to be doing full dips, going all the way down, trying to get a 90-degree bend in the arm, and all the way back up. Really no need to go any lower than that, just putting a lot of strain on that shoulder. So again, crossing the legs, down and up. You know, if you have short chairs, you might have to bring your knees up a little bit in order to get all the way down. 3, 4, 5. Doing dips properly is harder than it looks. If you need to, keep your feet on the ground. Turn the hands out to the side, like straight, down, and up. At the top, try to push those hips out to a nice straight line, working on a nice support strength there. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Even though those are easier, they're also very beneficial to do right after your normal dips, really to max out on support strength again. Really good for engaging the core and also very important for teaching pommel horse. All right, so that with the hands out, you're gonna extend those feet, keeping the toes pointed. So it's very similar to a push-up position, but on this one, we're really gonna focus on pushing hollow and also leaning our shoulders in front of our hands. We're gonna just hold this position 3 seconds, and then we're gonna walk our feet to the side, keeping our hands in place, working the side body hold position. Try to get everything in a nice straight line here. The shoulder is on top of the hand, shoulders on top of the shoulder, hand is on top of the shoulder, this shoulder. And just holding that 3 seconds, really engaging the obliques right here. Then walking your feet to the front. We're gonna push the hips up, try to lean the shoulders back behind the hands, really engaging those triceps here. Once you're done with the 3 seconds there, walking your feet around to the side. Again, focusing on a nice straight line here and here, kind of like the letter T. Keeping everything nice and tight. Once you understand the positions, you want to keep the hands in place. Walk it around. We're going to do that 10 times. Now we're going to move on to our handstand push-ups. I'm going to show you a few different ways to do this depending on your skill ability level. So first, handstand push-up, a normal one, you want to kick right up into it, descend it slowly, touch the head, and all the way up. If you can't do a real handstand push-up, you can either do this with your feet on a wall, or you can do this with a spot. If that's still too challenging to do, another way to do this is keeping your feet on the ground, go into a nice piked position with your hands out in front of your toes, go down, tap your forehead, and back up. This is a great way to learn the handstand push-up. Just make sure your elbows are going in when you're going down and not going out to the sides. You want to imagine a triangle here, tapping your forehead in a spot above or in front of your hands. I'll show that again. If you can do that pretty easily, I can't. You can do this with your feet on an elevated surface also. Just to really mimic a handstand a little bit more. Another good one is keeping the knees down. So we're in this tucked handstand position, down and up. make sure you try to finish with your ears between the shoulders here. So to do this, I would advise you either do this with a spot, or you could do this with your feet against the wall. If you have a low ceiling like me, you can do it. Feet barely touching the ceiling, posting over through your shoulder, holding 5 seconds or so. And then, of course, make sure you do the other arm. I'll show it from this direction also. Shifting your weight over, pushing up through the shoulder, arm going out by the leg, whatever's comfortable for you. Posting up, really important to try to get that shoulder to touch the ear there. Is the press handstand. So standing in a nice straddle, hands down to the floor. You're going to post up into the shoulders, going on the toes. Then get the hips above the shoulders, straddle the legs around, and up to a handstand. Straddle, and back down. If you can't do these, there are also other ways to do it, like the jump press. Hands down, jump the hips up. This might be a good one for a lot of people, and if you can, catch your balance. And then bring... Another great way to practice the press is to bring your back against the wall. I would turn your hands out just for this one. Once your back's against the wall, up in the straddle, handstand, feet together, down, and down. Exercise we're going to be doing is the basic squat. When we do the squat, we want to stand with our feet a little bit further than shoulder width apart. Feet pointing forwards, knees out over the feet, down and up. Try and make sure your chest is staying up on the descent. Really focus on squeezing the glutes at the top. Make sure you're going down to at least knee level with the hips before we go up again. Another great exercise, if this is too easy, is the jump squat. Jumping up, landing, controlling the descent. Size is the burpee. Very challenging on your cardiovascular system. It's a combination of a jump, push up. There are plenty of other ways to make this either easier or harder, such as not jumping, putting your hands down, walking those feet out and up, or more challenging, tuck jump, push-ups, and of course vary the speed depending on skill level. Next exercise that we're going to be doing is just lifting the legs, really just to work the hips here. You can use a chair for balance. We're going to be lifting the leg out to the side. Really try to lead with the heel, not the toe, to work the back side of the hip here. When we do this, try not to lean over to compensate, but really keep your chest up above your hips. If you can, do it without having anything for balance. When we do these, try to do 5 on each leg, holding for 3 seconds each side. Alright guys, next up is the hitch kick. Really good for working the hip flexors. Also really good for young gymnasts to learn control and technique also. It's really hard to make this look good. Step, kick, kick, step, step. Do that again. You want to alternate each side. Try to do 5 to 10 reps on each leg. Hands out. Step, kick, kick, step, step. And on the opposite leg, step, kick, kick, step, step. when you kick, try to kick above. Make sure you're taking breaks as needed. Hydration is key. And again, guys, we're using the chairs for this one. We're going to be turning our hands out just to save our wrists. We're going to bring the knees up, try to get them against your chest or at least above horizontal. And we're just going to hold that 3 seconds or so, 10 times. If you're able to, do all 10 without putting our feet down. So up, 1, 2, 3, down, up. And remember, nice long neck, like a giraffe, not letting ourselves slouch. If you can do those fairly easily, you should also be doing leg raises into LC position, trying to lift our feet up, above horizontal, 3 seconds, down, and up. If you want to go all the way, bend your knees at the bottom. And going along the same lines as the tuck hold and the LC is the straddle hold. A straddle hold is when we're in this position here, hands on the ground, legs out extended, and holding like an LC but in a straddle. If you can't just lift into it, you can always do this from a candlestick position. So we're going to roll back, candlestick, straddle, hands down, push up, straddle up. Try to hold each one for 3 seconds. Core strength. So first one we're going to be doing is a half sit-up, also known as a crunch. I like to put my hands right behind my ears. We're not going to be tugging on the head here, keeping the head and spine nice and neutral. Just half sit up and back down. Make sure keeping that lower back fully on the ground each time. Really focus on engaging the core. Again, we're not pushing the head out at the top. Try to keep the chin down as we go up. We're going to be doing 20 of those. Next up, we're going to be doing the full sit-up. Feet on the floor, by the way, legs bent, all the way up, pause, and down. Touch the lower back to the floor, and up again. Really try to control the descent, not just letting yourself fall down. And just weighted sit-ups and crunches are really challenging on the core. You might be saying to yourself, well, I don't have a weight. Well, guess what? You don't need one. You can be using groceries, gallons of water. I'm going to be using a laundry basket. So, again, half crunch, keeping the weight nice and controlled. We're just going to be doing 15 of these. And then the full sit-up, and just 5 of these. Again, controlling the weight, not using it for momentum to get up. Trying to make it more challenging, not less challenging. Working that core is the hollow hold. One of the most important exercises, in my opinion, for gymnastics, really just focusing on body tightening. So the hollow hold is done. Bring the feet and shoulders up off the ground and just holding this position. Try to do at least 10 seconds. From the side, it looks like this. Really focus on getting that lower back firmly planted on the ground when you do these. To make it easier, put the feet on the ground, lift the chest up, and just hold those shoulders up. If that's still too challenging, put the hands down. Again, lower back staying fixed on hold. So hollow hold, tuck up. We're going to hold it 3 seconds, then back down. Try to get 10 repetitions on this. Along with the tuck up hold, we want to be doing regular tuck ups, which would look like this. So not going crazy fast, but trying to control it, but just not pausing at the top. It's the same exact thing, but performed with legs straight. You can do this with a pause, or just up and down. So, just like the hollow hold, we're going to do the arch hold, hands above your head. You're going to lift your feet and your hands at the same time. Try to get your shoulders in line with your ears. You can hold that 10 seconds. Also, there's arch ups, so just arching up into that same position. Pausing, bringing everything down, then back up. along those same lines is arch rocks. So holding that arch position, then letting one side go down, other side go up, other side down, other side up. Just rocking in that position. Alright guys, now working basic forward rolls. Hands up, squat down, hands on the ground. Make sure the chin goes all the way down, protecting the head. Then straighten the legs at the same time that you're bending the arms. Upper back goes on the ground to a candlestick position. Roll up, stand up. Try to stand up with the feet and knees together. In fast motion, it'll look something like this. Alright guys, another really important exercise for core tightening and stability is the bird dog. So you're going to be down like a push position, and you're going to lift one leg up and the opposite arm up, and just try to hold that 3 seconds or so, and switch the other side, and try to do 5 on each side. Another really important exercise, especially for male gymnasts, is holding yourself in this split position, in a half push-up position. Try to hold this 3 seconds, and then go to the other leg, 3 seconds. Try to do 5 on similar to the last one. Same exact thing, but while you're in the position, you're going to do a full push-up. So we're in this position, up, switch legs, down, up. This is not only good for working the shoulders, core, that good split position, but also really great just for focusing on your form. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that you got something beneficial out of that. Just a quick note, whenever you're engaging in any kind of physical activity, whether it be at the home or the gym, make sure that you are doing that proper warm-up, going through those motions, and make sure you're not pushing yourself and trying exercises that really might not be appropriate for you. Thank you guys again for watching. Have a great day.